All right. Oh, how about now? It looks like I'm picking stuff up now. Alex, how's my sound now? Working? All right, give me a thumbs up or a something if you could hear me. Anything. I know there's a delay. It's the hard part about doing this by yourself. Nobody's here to tell you. All right. Cool. Well, here we go. We might as well start all over again. 8 minutes in. Alex, thank you so much for for saying something. I don't know what happened there, but it looks like we're up and running now. So um, yeah, obviously, get your questions in as we go. Since you didn't hear me the first time, please drop your questions in. Very interesting slate of games this week because of the quarterback injuries across the league and a lot of backup quarterbacks starting this week, right? So, how does that affect your wide receivers? How does that affect your running game? Defenses, it really brings up a lot of challenges and options as far as building and putting to the best team that you can together this week. It's going to be definitely challenging, especially with a lot of these guys that are facing difficult defenses or getting their first ever starts or first starts in years. So, Herbert or Howell for Alex? Oh, Alex W. Davis now. I like it, and I know exactly what you're talking about, which is funny, and I appreciate the humor because I called him yesterday and let him introduced him as Alex L. Davis for his loss upcoming tomorrow night to the Jets. So I love it, Alex. I love it. Well, so I know you want to go with Herbert in this one, um, being your boy and all, but the Jets defense has done a hell of a job against some of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think that is going to continue. There's not a huge rash of injuries for the Jets defense or anything. Everybody's pretty healthy. I mean, the Commanders against the Patriots, that's a pretty nice matchup. I think man, that's a tough one. You kind of want to go with Howell just because the Jets defense is legit, but it's also your boy. So for you, I would say start Herbert, um, root for him, but Howell's I think going to have a pretty nice statistical day against the Patriots. I think he'll play well. Um, we'll see. We'll see on that one, but I say start Herbert. He's too good to do that bad, but Howell does have a nice matchup against the Patriots. So if you want to go safer, I would probably go with Howell. If you want to go with the dart throw, go with Herbert. He should at least get a touchdown against the Jets. They like to give up that touchdown in the first quarter, and then they start playing defense in the second half. So um, take that as you will. Safe Howell, if you want to, if you need to catch up, you need a big game, Herbert. But Howell's probably your better play. But Herbie's still Herbie, so really good. I'm a little nervous, and I'm excited to talk about that one. So right now we're looking. Dolphins got the ball back, 21-14 in that one. If you're not watching, fourth quarter, just under 10 minutes to go. And they are at their own 30-yard line. So they got a ways to go, but slowly trying to catch up to the Chiefs. Hopefully the Chiefs can hold on to that one. So let's talk about quarterback injuries and how that's going to affect your lineups, right? So this first game right here is the perfect example. Vikings at Falcons. So you got Jaron Hall starting for the Vikings. Taylor Heineke now stepping in for the Falcons for the now benched Desmond Ritter. Both 4-4 teams, but the Vikings are in much worse shape than the Falcons are in this one, which is surprising. So this without Justin Jefferson again. Hopefully he's back next week potentially. That's going to be huge. Madison has kind of regressed back to early season form again. He's not really doing anything crazy, which is weird because he looked so good last year stepping in for Dalvin Cook when he was out. So it's weird to see that regression. Also, Darisaw is out for them, for the Vikings as well. So that's an O line hit that they're probably going to feel a little bit. So that's another issue that you've got to be concerned about. So this Vikings team, I think, is going to have a hard time running. Jaron Hall is going to have a really hard time today as well. So Addison again continues to show up week in and week out. I think he's still a very nice play and probably somebody that Hall is going to look to as another rookie. Probably has some familiarity with him from early in training camp. So I like that play a lot in this game. Osborne has also looked really good stepping in as well. So it's just really hard to say what Jaron Hall is going to do, and I'm not going to start two. So if you've got Addison, I would probably consider starting him. But if you do have him and you're on that fence, let me know who you've got as viable options to alternate out. From the Falcons side, of course, with Taylor Heineke coming in, he likes to throw a lot. Drake London is not here this week. So that leaves Kyle Pitts. Hopefully, that leaves Kyle Pitts because he needs to do something. So Kyle Pitts had a great game 3 weeks ago, I think it was. And then he's gone back to his 5, 6, 7 fantasy points. So the tight end spectrum is terrible. It really is terrible. If you don't have Kelsey or Kittle, you're kind of just praying to God every day that something good happens, that a ball just happens to fall in one of these tight ends' hands in the end zone, because that's about as close as you can get to anything guaranteed in the tight end sphere this year. So I like Kyle Pitts a lot. I think Pitts is should do good in this game. And since there's so much limited options for Heineke, I think that's going to be a huge go-to for him. I also think if we're going to see it this year, this is going to be Bjorn Robinson's week. If he doesn't carry the ball 15 or more times, I don't know if he's ever going to. And I don't know why the Falcons even wasted a top 10 pick on him. It makes no sense. Their usage with him, that they're still letting Cordero Patterson run the ball, that they're still giving Tyler Algier huge chunks of runs there. Like you don't spend a top 10 pick on a running back and then soften and ease him into the game. Like you just give the kid the ball and let him destroy things. But this has got to be the week for it, right? I mean, this has to be the week that we see him do something, right? You don't want to put too much on Taylor Heineke. Run the ball. Just give it to your best player and run the ball. So that's what I'm looking at. Falcons, Pitts looks like a decent play. Watch a Bjorn Robinson. I want to see that breakout that we know is right there on the cusp. And the Vikings, outside of Addison, I'm probably staying away. And I'm staying away from Addison if I have something better or any other decent options, just because we don't know what Jaron Hall's going to do. And it's probably not going to be a whole hell of a lot. So in this one, give me the Falcons. They're 3.5 point favorites. That feels low. It should be higher than that, I think, with a rookie quarterback starting on the road without Justin Jefferson. I don't like that one. So give me the Falcons on that. And we'll keep rolling here to two more that let me take a look at this real quick. You guys think about your questions that you want to ask. And where is it? Okay, I don't see him. So it looks like Deshaun is playing. I don't see him on the inactive list. Let me jump in and just double check before I give bad advice. And I don't have anybody here to bounce that off of. So um, Watson is back as starter on Sunday. So Watson is in. Kyler is not. And that to me is a big storyline here, because it's why is Kyler Murray not activated yet? It's really weird. You're 1-7, you're paying him a ton of money, and you're rolling with backup third string quarterbacks over him, which is really, really strange to me that Arizona's doing that, unless they just want to make sure they lock up that first pick and they're just tanking for it, which is the only thing that makes sense at this point. Because you should be starting Kyler Murray. If Brees Hall could come back from an ACL and be doing what he's doing, Kyler Murray can come back and quarterback. I mean, he doesn't have to run rampant, but he should be playing. That makes no sense. Um, but in this one, this is going to be an ugly game for Arizona. I don't think you're going to see very much out of this one at all. And Cleveland's a 13-point favorite, and I think that's probably right, which is feels wrong to say, but I think it's right. Deshaun's back. We'll see what that injury, that shoulder looks like, and how he performs. Um, Ford and Kareem Hunt should continue to run very well. They've both been running very well. And I think that's what you're going to see. I don't think they're going to put a lot on Deshaun Watson. I like the running game for the Browns in this one. So if you have a Browns running back, I think this game is going to flow through them. So either one is should be a nice play. So take a look for those options if you can flex those in because the running games are going to be really weird. Cardinals don't really have one at all to speak of. So total dart throw there if you're gonna go with a Cardinals running back because I don't know what it's going to look like. So start your Browns running backs, and I would really temper expectations for everything else. Browns defense, very nice play against this Cardinals team. Uh, Highly, highly recommend and probably one of the top targets. If they're out there, grab them and plug them in because they are going to be an awesome, awesome play this week. So, with that, Cleveland 13 points. I mean, that should be easy. It really should be easy. 38-point over under. So, they're not expecting Arizona to score at all. So, that's going to be crazy. But let's get to Alex L. Davis's question. Who's the odd man out? Garrett Wilson, Addison, Scary Terry, or Gabe Davis? Well, definitely not Garrett Wilson, considering he's going up against the worst pass defense in the league. So he should have a very good game. Addison, maybe after what I just said. Scary Terry. So the Patriots, they do a great job of taking away your best weapon. Is that Terry McLaurin? I would say most likely yes. So that one makes me a little bit weary. And then Gabe Davis, he is man. When you talk about dart throw plays, like he could score 2 touchdowns or he could get 2 catches for 2 yards. I mean, he's a tough one to really pin down. I mean, he's all over the place. He's boomer bust. I mean, he is Gabe Davis is boomer bust. Like that is your boomer bust player. Um, I like Garrett Wilson. In this one, I would probably lean away from Terry McLaurin. I think it would be my odd man out, which is weird. I just know how the Patriots operate and they take away your top guy, and that's probably going to be him. Against the Bengals, who looked really good last week, that might be a lot more throwing. And if they try to take Diggs away, that could leave Gabe Davis with a feast of potential. So, as much as I also want to say Addison because I don't know what Jaron's going to do, uh, I think he's his best option up there. So, yeah, give me McLaurin. I'm going to say McLaurin's the odd man out. I'm going to hold with that. Alex, great questions, man. That's deep and I like it. But that's going to be my pick. All right, so let's keep rolling here. We've got more backup quarterbacks. Rams traveling up to Lambeau to take on obviously the Packers. So we've got no Matt Stafford this week. He's out for just blanked it. Matty Stafford is done for some guy named, and I know it, Brett Rippon. Thank you. Will step in for Matt Stafford. So obviously, I think we're all excited to be adding Brett Rippon to our fantasy lineups. I mean, if you haven't run out and grabbed him, I don't know why you're even playing fantasy. To be honest with you, he's such an elite, high level quarterback that I mean, Matt Stafford might lose his job permanently to this kid. That was complete and utter sarcasm. So if you didn't pick that up, get to know me a little bit better. We'll get you there. But the Rams are going to be terrible today. Rippon. I don't want to confuse Cal or insult Cal Ripken. Brett Rippon is not a good quarterback, and he's going up to Lambeau. The Packers are 2-5. They're nothing special. Puka is injured but should be playing. Cooper Cup is still Cooper Cup, but they don't have Matt Stafford. So I really, really don't feel comfortable with that situation. Um, they're going to get some passes thrown to them. The Packers defense is okay, but not great. It is a hard place to play, especially when you're used to nice, warm uh, LA temperatures, but I don't think that's going to affect too much. I would be hesitant, and this is what we got into it, right? You have Cooper Cup, you got to play Cooper Cup, but you've got man, that's a tongue twister. Brett Rippon to throw the ball to him. How comfortable do you feel with that? And what are your other options if you are looking to bench one of these players, right? Like you don't pull Cooper Cup out very often. So if you are, what does that look like? And what is that going to do for you? Um, so if you have him and you're thinking about what are my options, drop them in the chat. Let me know what it is, and we'll go from there.
Look how red this apple has
Oh,
gotten.
man, this is just a show. Yes, that's a super red apple, baby. All right. So we've got red apples in the house. Thank you for stopping by. Love you. Bye. She's a sweetheart. She really is, I promise. Had to show me how red an apple was. So yeah, so back to this game. And this is quite the show. And thank you guys for watching and sticking along with it. And sure you're having a great time on the other side of this camera. So Rams, yeah, what are your options besides Cooper Cup or Puka? Something to talk about there. Packers side of the ball. Oh, I mean, just avoid it. Stick with your running backs. Jordan Love has come back down to earth, and even the Packers are saying they don't know if he's the future. Started out great and has just kind of regressed and regressed and regressed. So it's bad. Um, I I'm going to go with the Packers in this game. Um, just being a home game, no other reason. Home game for them. I just don't trust. I don't trust Rippin. Packers defense might not be a bad play either. I mean, the Rams running game isn't anything crazy, and with a very mid quarterback, the Packers might not be a bad flex if you need a defense as well this week. So, but in this one, give me the Packers to squeeze one out against the Rams, but I don't expect much. And 37.5 points. Vegas isn't expecting much either. So keep rolling down here. So dive a little deeper. Actually, I'm going to see. John is supposed to be joining us. I'm going to try to hold the Patriots game a little bit longer to see if he jumps on. Uh, so let's jump to another riveting game. The Chicago Bears traveling down to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints are 9-point favorites in this one. Still a very good defense. And you've got the baguette of donuts that's going to be quarterbacking for the Bears this week. He had one really good game, and man, what some film will do for your career is just insane, right? Nobody knew what to expect. He played great, got some film on him, and he came crashing back down to earth, which I expect to happen again against a very good Saints defense. This is going to be a hard game for the Bears to win. That Saints defense is very good. It's a home game. That's a very hard place to play as well. It's very loud, and they're 9-point favorites going into this one. So, from a Bears standpoint, and that's, I mean, I'm pretty much avoiding everything for the Bears. I don't like anything really in this game. Without Justin Fields, DJ Moore has disappeared. Uh, their running game is also kind of non-existent. So just avoid the Bears. Do not start DJ Moore this week, please. Don't start DJ Moore this week. That's going to be my pound the table. On the Saints side, Alvin Kamara continues to just eat up dump passes and rack up some yards after catch. So very nice play there. Chris Olave is still kind of just floating in midland. Michael Thomas as well. That offense just seems to be running through Kamara. So uh, I'm 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 hesitant on the best receiving options to go with for the Saints. I don't know if there's anything there that you feel really comfortable with. But I do like that Saints defense. So a lot of really nice defensive plays to pivot in this week. So I think that's something to take a look at and try to maximize, especially if you don't have an elite defense. Looking at some of these options to plug and play this week are going to be really, really beneficial. The Saints defense is most likely owned, but if you're playing in daily, um, that's not a bad play. The Packers defense is probably not owned at all, and that's something you could flex to if you need to. Browns defense might be out there. You could grab that one as well. And even you could take a shot on the Falcons defense at home against a rookie quarterback. That might be a good play as well. So a lot of really nice defensive matchups. But in this one, give me the Saints as well. I think the Saints will easily win this one at home. 9-point favorites again, 41.5 point over under. Decent scoring potential in this game. So overall, really good. I think for the morning games, this is the game to watch. Um, Seahawks traveling to Baltimore, 5-2, traveling to 6-2, 2-1 on the road for the Seahawks. Ravens 2-1 at home. So very, very close matchup here. Baltimore 6.5 point favorites, 44 point over under. The weather looks beautiful today there. Full sun, 56 degrees. Very nice day for November football, without a doubt. And in this one, Lamar looks good. The Seahawks defense, they added Leonard Williams. He is supposed to be playing this week. So that is going to be an interesting thing to watch because they've got to get pressure on it. Being up here in Seattle, I had this conversation with a few Seahawks fans about this game and how they win it. And I hate to say it, being a Jamal Adams hater, but I think he's going to be pivotal in this game. His versatility at safety, I think, if they play this right and use him as a spy on Lamar, and can find a way, which they've got good corners in Seattle, if they can try to contain Mark Andrews and keep a spy on Lamar Jackson, I think their corners are good enough for man coverage and be able to take out the wide receivers for Baltimore, which are not that great. And the Seahawks could, with that scheme, I think, win this game. It's not going to be easy. Baltimore is not an easy place to play. It's a West Coast, East Coast 10 a.m. game. I don't like those either. Um, that's tough, right? It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast when that game starts, and it's 10 a.m. here on the West Coast. So when you're used to that, is that going to affect you? So again, with this Ravens, they're a really good team, year in and year out, well coached, well played. Running game in this one is hard to say for both teams because Gus Edwards had 2 touchdowns last week, and before that, hardly touched the ball at all. It was all a hill game. So for the running game here, like it's hard if you need to plug somebody in. They should both get carries. They should both put up some numbers. Just hard to say who's going to tote the rock the most in this one. I would lean towards Gus Edwards just after the week he had last week. See if that hot hand continues. Uh, so that would probably be my thing. But if he struggles out the gate, they might shift over to Hill and give him the option. So that's tough. Seahawks side, man, I want to see this goes back to the Falcons game that I was talking about. Why is Kenneth Walker not carrying the ball more? I don't understand it. And Pete Carroll wants to run the ball. And he's got a great running back in Kenneth Walker, and he's going to Chardonnay all the time. And that's great. I mean, wine drinkers, they're very sophisticated. They're supposed to be intelligent, but he's not making great choices because Kenneth Walker's a home run hitter. And um, I think he needs a lot more carries than what he's getting. Single digit carries, maybe 10 carries in a game. Like that's not enough. If you want to win this game, take it off of Gino, who looks a lot more like the Gino that we know, and put it on your running game and let Kenneth Walker get 15, 18 carries in the game and just let him wear down the Ravens defense. If you want to win this game, it's got to be on the ground. I like Kenneth Walker this week. I think he's going to play very well. Of course, you start Mark Andrews each and every week. I should have added him into that tight end conversation of elite tight ends because he definitely is. somebody you feel good with week in and week out. Um, really, really good. And Zay Flowers on the other side, he's somebody that you got to keep an eye on. But I do think if Tariq Woolen shadows him, he's a very good corner. He could take him out of the game. So interesting to see how that's going to play out. I would avoid obviously receivers if you need to on this one, but I do like the running game for the Seahawks. And the Ravens defense is probably going to play very well. So this one, I'm going to stick with Baltimore. I think they're just in a better situation, home game, early game, and overall, they're just playing better right now than the Seahawks. So, wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks use my plan. I would be surprised if they use my plan because I'm not an NFL coach. Breaking news just came across the ticker. I'm not an NFL coach, but uh, if you can imagine what I said, I think it makes sense. And if they use that and they could spy Lamar, keep him in the pocket, and force him to throw to the wide receivers, you could get some mistakes to capitalize on. So overall, Ravens win, but Seahawks would not surprise me if they play this game right and come away with a very close W. All right, let's keep rolling. Last early morning game, second to last. I'm about to give up on John. So, Buccaneers at the Texans. I am having a hard time with this one. I want to get your guys' feed on what you're feeling in this one. CJ Stroud, I am so torn on this one. So let me know what you think of CJ Stroud this week. He started out fantastic, and he's still playing well, but they're losing games, um, and his numbers are regressing week in week out. So I'm a little nervous about CJ Stroud here. The Buccaneers are not anything crazy, and it's a home game for the Texans, but I don't like the way his numbers are going. They're trending down. They don't have Damian Pierce, which seems to affect the entire offense without him. Runs a whole lot clunkier, I guess. And I'm curious to see. So, give me your thoughts. What do you think CJ Stroud does today? Is he a start or is he a sit? And can he put up 20 fantasy points, right? Because that's what we need from a quarterback. You need 20 fantasy points if you really want to dominate a league. Can he do it? He did it earlier in the year. And now the last couple weeks, he's down to the low teens, if not down even further than that. So um, let me know what you think in that one. I want to get your guys' inputs from the Buccaneers side. Baker Mayfield, he's playing okay. Mike Evans is still week in and week out a must start, I think, especially against the Texans. Get Mike Evans in there, Godwin in there. I think White will even have a good game as well. Statistically, I feel like 39 points is low. I think this game's going to go higher scoring because both of these defenses are pretty average, right? So we got Singletary running the ball for the Texans this week, and I'm kind of talking myself into it, but CJ Stroud against this Buccaneers defense is not anything that scares you, right? But is he gonna put up a big game, 3 touchdown game? Do you guys feel that that's coming in this one? I think you start your Texas wide receivers, which is Nico Collins. You start Mike Evans, start Chris Godwin. I like White. I don't like Singletary. Um, and I think I'm gonna say CJ Stroud is going to play well today. I'm gonna put him right on the cusp of 20 points. I'm gonna say 19 to 21 fantasy points this week for him. He's gonna be right there in that range. Pretty good week. So, but give me. I think the Buccaneers are gonna win this one. Give me the Bucks in this one. Houston's a 3-point favorite. I think the Bucks are gonna win it. All right. So we don't have John, so let's all collectively bash on the Patriots because that's a fun thing to do. Yes. All right, Commanders traveling up to Foxborough, 3-5. Commanders against the 2-6 New England Patriots. The Patriots are 3-point favorites with a blistering 41.5 point over underline in this one. Surprise, the Patriots are favored. I would say the Commanders' offense is better all around. Devontae Parker is out. So Juju is your number one guy. Their running game for the Patriots has not looked great. Mac has looked good, better, not good, better over the last 2 weeks. Um, but this Commanders offense with Howell, as Alex brought up, it can put up some. Excuse me, it can put up some points. Uh, they can really move the ball. They can chuck the ball. Um, Terry McLaurin, great wide receiver there, which you do like. And he's a hard man to stop. He really is. But man, I mean, I don't know where to go with this game. This is such an ugly game overall because the Patriots could go back to being the Patriots again. And then what are you looking at? A terrible Mac Jones. It just feels like one of those games where there's an implosion coming. And I don't know if it's going. I don't know if it's going to, but it just feels like the Patriots are favored and they shouldn't be. Just weird, and I wish John was here to kind of dive into a little bit more. I think Hal will have a good game, Alex. I think if you do want to start him, I think that's a smart play. But again, not a lot of high scoring games, so it's really hard to pick the offenses that are going to go off this week because they're either evenly matched or the quarterbacks are terrible. So it's really hard to say in this one, but I'm going to say the Commanders go in there and beat the Patriots because I like to say that and it feels good. It feels good in my heart to say the Patriots are going to lose. I don't know why. It might be something on my shirt, but right over my heart, it feels good. It feels real good. So yeah, so give me the Commanders in this one. I like it a lot. Um, I like it a lot, and we'll continue on here. So that takes care of the morning slate. Afternoon slate games. We've got the Colts at the Panthers, and I don't know who's excited about this one, but there's somebody out there watching that's excited about the Colts and Panthers, and I want you to be. I feel like that's what you need in your life. That joy and excitement, and I want you to have it, and I want you to experience it. Um, for the rest of us, we're not enjoying this game. So, um, of course, Jonathan Taylor Thomas now a must start. I still like Zach Moss. If you need to start a running back, start Zach Moss. He's still getting carries and they're still giving him goal line work. So if you're desperate for a running back, it's still not a terrible play, but Jonathan Taylor is still elite. Breaking news there. He's still an elite running back and he's very good. The Panthers side of the ball, I mean, surprise win against the Texans last week. Nobody saw that one coming. Uh, but congratulations, Panthers fans, for win number one. That's always huge. Nobody wants to go 0 for 17. That's a tough way to spend a year. So good job there. Outside of that, I don't know what to tell you. So the Colts with Gardner Minshew is probably better right now. They still have Pittman, who is a very good running back or wide receiver, and they've got really good running back. So I just think you go with that. You could start Pittman in this game. The Panthers still have a decent defense, but it just wears out over time because they're on the field so much. So um, give me the Colts in this one. 2.5 point favorites. It's kind of low. I'm not going to lie, but this is kind of a weird game, especially at a 44 point over under, which is on the higher side of the slates this week. Um, to only give Indy 2.5 points is telling me you think the Panthers are going to score a lot. So um, if you've got Panthers players you were thinking about starting, I think Vegas feels pretty good about them putting up some points. So take that as you will. Now let's jump down here to another riveting game. The New York Football Giants against the Raiders. 2-6 Giants traveling to Vegas to take them on in this one. Vegas is a 1.5 point favorite, and again, 38 point over under. Low scoring games this week. That's like the continuous theme as we go through this. So the Raiders are a mess. absolute mess. Brand new coaching staff coming in now. And interesting stat there, that you guys probably saw, but if you didn't, the Raiders are paying John Gruden and Josh McDaniels $85 million still to not coach their football teams. Like that is the rate. I mean, if there's anything that says Raiders, that's it. I mean, I don't know how you can manage an organization so poorly and still make money. Like that blows my mind. I know football is an extremely profitable business, but imagine running a business where you're paying your CEOs more money than your workers to not work, like to just stay at home. That blows my mind. And then the fact that they're going with Antonio Pierce as their coach, who single-handedly destroyed Arizona State's future basically by having so many recruiting violations that they had to forfeit bowl games and lost most of their teams to the transfer portal. Uh, Ended up getting Herm Edwards fired, and now he's coaching the Raiders, and it just feels right. Like I feel like if anybody's going to have success, it's the guy who doesn't know how to break the rules. But we'll see. I mean, it just fits with like everything that happens in Vegas perfectly, right? Like such a great fit, and I think they found their guy there. Um, at least for the next couple games until he does something stupid. And, he's probably on the phone with like Patrick Mahomes trying to recruit him over to Kansas City, and then they'll lose all their draft picks for tampering. So back to this game. They should have traded Devontae Adams to the Jets. I'm going to say that right now. But again, they don't know what they're doing. Giants, they get Daniel Jones back this week. Woohoo! Good for the Giants. That's great to see because DeVito doesn't know how to throw the ball, which was awesome last week. But yeah, they get Danny Dimes back. That's going to be a huge lift for them. Saquon is going to be a huge lift for him. Take a little bit of pressure off of that run game and give him hopefully some lanes to get in and out of. Uh, that's going to be something to watch. Saquon Barkley, probably one of the highest upside wide running backs this week. So great if you drafted him. He should put up some numbers today. Raiders side, I think Josh Jacobs the same deal. Giants run game was fantastic. Run defense was fantastic last week against my Jets. Would they give up about 20 yards rushing? They played very well. Of course, their offense had -9 yards as a whole for the game, which was also fantastic. But the Giants had a very bad run defense coming into last week, and they were getting destroyed. Josh Jacobs, really good. I don't know if that was just like the Giants defense played up for the Jets, didn't want to lose to their cross locker room rivals there, but I don't see that happening again. The weather was also really bad, kind of limited a lot of things. So Raiders indoors, Josh Jacobs is really good. I think they're going to try. This is going to be a ground game. Daniel Jones is coming back. They're going to try to ease him into it, I think. And then the Raiders side with just that offense is a mess. So I think you want to keep the game on the ground. I don't think Vegas is going to win this game. I think the Giants are going to win this game. And I'm sure if Jim's watching out there, he's smiling right now. But I do think the Giants are going to pull this off with that huge shakeup in the Raiders on the Raiders side of it. It's an absolute mess. The Giants played really tough last week, and especially for a team who couldn't throw the ball, the defense played really well. If they figured it out, I like the Giants to win this one, and Danny Dimes gives them a much better chance of winning than Mike DeVito did. So you can, if you guys want, you could jump on a Southwest Airlines flight and grab a ticket for $140 to catch the Raiders and the Giants game, and I feel like that's a steal. I mean, $140, that's nothing. I mean, yeah, you could also go to Carolina and catch a Colts game for $25, but it's totally up to you. You jump on the flight that makes you most happy. All right, so Giants win that game. Let's keep going. Cowboys at the Eagles. So afternoon games to watch. This is probably where most eyes are going to be, unless you really love the Colts and Panthers. And if that's you, then good for you. Panthers, Cowboys, Eagles. 5-2 Cowboys, 7-1 Eagles. This is a home game for Philly. It's going to be a very tough one for the Cowboys to go in. Philly's a 3-point favorite, and it's a 46.5 point over under, which again feels low, um, uh, especially considering, which I love just referencing this game for some reason, the Colts and Panthers are 44.5 over under. Cowboys and Eagles are 46.5 point over under. Like, what? So again, what does Vegas know about this Colts game? I don't know. Something doesn't feel right here. It's going to be fun to look at the box score when this thing's over and see who goes off that Vegas is so high on. But to me, a 2 point spread between these two games is not. It should be illegal. It's not right. So Cowboys, they're playing well. Their defense has softened up a little bit, but they're still 5-2, and they put on a clinic last week. Eagles, of course, 7-1. That one loss came from my boys in a great game, but this is going to be a division game that's going to be very tough for both teams. Going to be fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch. You like both sides of this one. If that Cowboys offense can figure it out week in and week out, it's going to be a hard team to beat. And the Eagles offense is fantastic, all around fantastic. Defense is very good. Not great, but very good. So this should be a shootout. I mean, I feel like the over under should be well above 50. Because if you're telling me these teams can't score 25 points, like it's not going to be a 30 to 27 type of win, I don't see it being low scoring. So start everybody here, from Swift to Pollard, Lamb, everybody. And I don't need to tell you to start AJ Brown. If you're not starting AJ Brown, you don't need to be watching this. You don't need to be playing fantasy football. So if he's on your bench, just hand your team mode. Just give your username and password to somebody else, anybody, your wife, your girlfriend, your 6-year-old child, and let them manage the team for you. So that being said, I think the Eagles pull this one out at home. I think it'll be close. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a fun one. But I think Philly's a hard place to go to play. It's a division game. It's not going to be easy. Give me Philly, 3-point favorites. That feels about right. So let me see. So it looks like that game just went final in Germany. Chiefs now 7-2. Dolphins 6-3. 21-14 final in that game. So good job, Chiefs. Thank you from everybody in the AFC East. We tip our hats to you. Thank you so much. All right. Give me the Eagles there. And then the night game. Tonight, the Buffalo Bills fly to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. 5-3 Bills, 4-3 Bengals. Bengals might have turned a corner. Joe Burrow looked really good last week. Really look forward to seeing that momentum going. And things start to click for that Bengals offense, because it's a fun offense to watch when it's working. And the Bills are kind of, I mean, everybody knows who the Bills are, but we've seen a little bit of struggles there. They're 5-3. They're not anything crazy. So are they beatable? Yes, they are. Could they go to 5-4? Yes, they can. Will they? Well, that's what we got to talk about. So, Jamar Chase, again, you're going to start. T. Higgins should have a nice game as well. And as we opened up with Alex's question, Gabe Davis. I mean, this is a game where I'm expecting a lot of scoring. If you've got any one of those four, maybe even Tyler Boyd as well, like you're going to consider starting these guys over a lot of these other ones. And when we're talking about, like, you've got Cooper Kupp and T. Higgins, who are you starting? I'm starting T. Higgins this week. I'm sorry, but it's just the upside in this game is huge. And I know Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp, but with Brett Rippon throwing to him, if I have that choice between Rippon and Burrow, give me Burrow, right? I mean, the quarterbacks make a big difference. So I'm going to say the Bengals at home win this game, go to 4-4. Bills are going to drop to 5-4, and it's going to be a very tight, fun back and forth game, I think. So Cincy's 2.5 point favorites, and it's probably going to be somewhere around there, 4 points, 5 points, something like that. So close one, high scoring, really fun Monday night football game. And then to wrap it up, we've got a shift. Alex, where are you at? Jets hosting the Chargers. Monday night football, 3-4 Chargers traveling all the way to New York to take on the 4-3 New York Jets. Chargers are 3.5 point favorites, a low 39.5 over under in this one, which is kind of expected, but I thought it would at least break 40. So we're close. We're close there. So Jets offense has been abysmal. It finally looks like the weather's going to be nice, though. It seems like every home game for the Jets, it's just raining like crazy. Right now, it looks like it's slated to be a nice, cool 50-degree night for the Jets, or at least it is right now. I'm not sure, but it's showing a moon on the weather, so I'm guessing that's the projection for tomorrow. So with that, I'm hoping to see a really exciting game. The Jets defense is ferocious. It is very hard it's hard to deal with. They've done a great job outside of Dak. Really, they've done a great job of containing quarterbacks. They've really done a really good job, especially with the elite level quarterbacks. And Justin Herbert is in that elite level conversation. So he's a very, very good quarterback. I'm not telling you anything you don't know there, but the Jets defense is also very good. I think they'll do a great job of containing him. My biggest concern in this game is going to be Austin Eckler. I know Josh Palmer is already out. Obviously, Keenan Allen is a hard man to stop as well, but the Jets linebackers are pretty good. Quincy Williams should be on him quite a bit. So I think the corners can contain anybody that's left, but Austin Eckler is going to be a handful. He's such a versatile back, which again, if you play fantasy, so he's going to be what you've got to stop. If you can stop him, I think you can contain a lot of this Chargers offense. From the Jets side, uh, they've got to figure out an offensive strategy that actually allows Zach Wilson to move around the pocket and get things going. A lot of what I've seen has been very slow offenses, very slow developing plays, and it's just falls apart. When they go up tempo, when they go fast, they move the ball. Zach Wilson can play a lot freer, and he makes plays when they do that. So I think they've got to find a balance here because this Chargers offense can fly, and it can light things up real quick. And if the Jets just try to rely on their defense, it's not going to hold for long. So the Jets have to get creative and move the ball freely, and they need to find a way to contain Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. If they can do that, Jets win. So again, home game. I'm going to give it to my boys. Jets go to 5-3 against the Chargers and squeak out another nail biter in the fourth quarter, doing what they do so well. So and that's it. So if there's any questions that we didn't get to, which doesn't look like there are, that's it. So again, guys, every week, jump on with us. Join us each and every Sunday morning to get you ready for your fantasy victories. Uh, and again, and just to before I wrap that up, on a bye, we do have Broncos, Lions, 49ers, and Jaguars. So we do have a couple of really high-powered guys that you also have to flex and get creative with these games. So not fun, but yeah, jump on again next week, next Sunday. Get your questions in. We'll be back to break down a bunch of football and see how this week went. Again, have a great one. Hopefully your teams win, you win, and you have a safe and healthy week. So until next Sunday, guys, have a good one. Peace out.